Okay, so it looks like it's working finally. Fuck this. I mean, this is crazy. This is crazy. I'm sorry. I'm not professional with these fucking technical stuff and just trying to set it up. I got my colleague who is helping me with this and let me check the sound. Finally. Okay, so sound is working right now. Okay, anyway, so let's start, right? I think it looks quite good. Yeah, all right. So we are here. It's a crypto outlook. We will look to the crypto, and I want to give you some news from the crypto, and but we will check the forex also, right? So we start on the dollar index as usually. Let me take you to monthly, right? Again, just to remind, right, where we are right now. We are reaching this. If you go to 6 months, right, you see it's a 6 months order block, right? This down candle from where we have seen this break up, right? So we are now reacting in here. Obviously, as it is 6 months, the price could dip deeper in it, right? However, the first reaction mostly is giving at least some bounce, right? On the monthly, we have this range, we had the candle inside, right? And then manipulation in here. Then we need to drop to daily. Good morning, Dean. Yeah. Right, so it's here, right? I'll be honest, I have been a little bit confused in here, right? For the past I think it was actually some kind of 3 weeks. 1 week I've been on the good morning, my friend. 1 week I've been on the holidays, right? And then in here, I was actually not getting any setup, nothing like that, right? Why? Because for me, there was actually another monthly range in here, or actually it was this weekly one, right? So before was something like this, right? And here is where we traded this long, right? And then I was thinking, like, all right, we will might come down here and we gonna get another trade in here, right? But I didn't realize that we need to go a bit deeper into this level, right? So here I had some loss, then in here was a little bit confused what's going on, right? Then it became clear that we going into this new lows, right? Then we just needed to wait for one specific thing, right? From the monthly, we need to see the change, manipulation of the monthly range and change in order flow, right? If you remember last down candle, engulfed and closed above. That's what has happened yesterday, right? And I posted few analyses like that the price could go lower. I opened the trades, but I immediately has closed them when I realized that this is actually happening in here, right? So right now I got some trades I entered in here for long on the dollar. I got short on the euro. I got short on the pound, right? I actually have long on this one, but let me take you back in here. Right? So what I'm expecting right now at this stage, right? As I said yesterday, we will probably not gonna get something like this. Maybe yes, maybe not, but that's not what we need to know right now, right? What we need to know right now. Good morning, Eduard. How's it going on the Tenerife, or where you are exactly? I think you are on the Tenerife, right? So what I see, right? We have the order block daily, and then we could get reaction from here, right? So we need to find in where, right? On the 4 hours, if we go to 4 hours, right? We also can see that we have created this level in here, right? As we have a FOMC tonight, we might could get some deeper violation, but I don't think it's gonna happen, right? So I got another buy limit in here, right? And I will be targeting these two equal highs, right? This Fuerteventura, but it's not far, right? It's very close, I do think, to Tenerife, isn't it? Right? So we have this, which is giving us a kind of a framework, right? What could happen where we could trade, right? So we could be forming something like this in here, right? Which is 1.17, right? And to be honest, I do think that we will go higher, right? And then we have a next key level, because this is a liquidity. A liquidity is not a key level, right? Key level is this, right? And if you look, you have 45-minute flight, right? You see? One day I will come to visit you. Now look at this, right? Relatively equal highs also in here, right? So we have all the news, everything, weak dollar, blah, 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 blah. But this is a 6-month level, right? It can make a pullback before we go lower, right? And we have these levels in here, right? Look, this 10% move, 10%, 12% move down, right? Since the beginning of the year, right? Dollar was still under the big pressure, right? It needs to breathe a little bit in here, right? So in my opinion, we have a chance for this, right? We have a chance for this, right? So that's how I'm positioning myself. I already got some positions, and I will be adding, right? So let's see what's gonna do FOMC. Obviously can do something like this, right? But I do think that the price section is already, good morning my friend. Don't know who you are, this HGL account, but anyway. So I do think that something like that is coming, right? Price section confirms that, right? Let's go to Euro. Right in here, yesterday I've been saying that I will become a fully bearish, right? Once I will see the daily order block to be created, right? So it had happened, right? We have this last up candle, right? Digging above the monthly high and also reacting on the key level. What is key level in here, right? Let's go to weekly. Let's look a little bit left, right? And we have these up candles in here. Sorry, it's on the monthly, right? So we have these last two up candles, right? Taking highs and taking us lower, right? So this is a key level, right? Now you can see we have this monthly, right? We tapped into this key level. Now what we need to see change in order flow. From the monthly, we need to see it on the daily, right? So where we are here, right? Yesterday we closed below this, right? This is change in order flow. This is where the order block is created, right? Price dipping above the highs. Now we have closed below this candle here, this candle yesterday, right? It confirmed, right? So right now we can be looking for the shorts, right? For shorts to where, right? Again, we're gonna measure the dealing range from where? Not from here, not from here, not from here, not from here, but from here, right? Why? Because this is where the candle did a rejection, right? So from here to this high, right? And then we're looking for what? For the transition candle, the candle that took us from the discount to the premium. Good morning, signing. Good morning, Horst. Horst, okay. I remember you from our Discord. Good to see you here, my friend. So right, so this candle could be a potential target, right? And it actually also aligns with the next order block, right? Because what's the definition of the order block, right? We want to see a down candle that actually took out some liquidity, right? So it was here, right? This is order block. There's nothing else in here, right? So we have the order block created in here from the higher time frame order block, key level, and we can be framing our trade down to the this order block, right? So in here, could we get then some bounce up or something like that? Probably yes, right? But if everything is aligning with this setup, right, then this is actually what? This is a model 2, and it could mean that the price could drop all the way down, right? However, as it is monthly, I am not sure somehow if I want to stay. That would be perfect to take such a trade, right? But I'm not sure if I want to stay in such a trade, right? Maybe it can play out, right? We will see, we don't know. right? Because we have this order block, that's what gonna be kind of pushing price higher from here, right? So that's where we need to get out from the trade. But we have this second order block down here, which actually has been already tested, right? So this one is not gonna be that big problem, right? So that's what I'm seeing right now in here. If we drop to 4 hours, right? And here is something what I should see, right? Because we had already changed in order flow on the 4 hours. But if you, yeah, Euro CPI, yes. But if you following the time frame alignments correctly, we should be waiting for this on the daily, right? And we can see here is this weekly opening gap, right? Price has been running above it, right? And then price dropping lower, right? So we can see, and now we are below this weekly opening gap, right? So here is where I want to add another position, right, for the short GBP, right, daily. So we got here again what we have this monthly CLS range, right? This one. Why I'm not drawing the other one is the reason is that basically we have closed above this one, right? Now we are reacting on the key level, right? Here is the key level, this one, right, from the weekly. You can see that the last weekly up candle is where it started this move that broke through these two highs, right? So here could be a reaction, right? And we have also the confluences that the dollar index is where it is, right? And what's also happening on the euro. And now again in here, right? Look, we had actually this Thursday range, and then on the Friday it was swept, right, and price started to go lower, right? So there was a chance to trade this CLS range, right? But it was the time when I've been still on the holiday, so I simply missed it somehow. But right now you can see yesterday this daily candle closed. So let me delete this one. Yesterday, this daily candle closed below last up candle, right? Last up candle closed below, right? So what does it mean? It's a order block, right? Create that. Right now, let's check this. What are they leaving in here, right? Equal lows, right? So price will most likely go lower, right? That would be perfect if we retest this daily order block, right? Let's go 4 hours. Right, we can see it's aligning with these lows, right? So if we get this pullback up into here, I would be happy to add some more positions, right? Where would be a target? Good morning, Mosen. Where would be our target, right? Again, we need to measure dealing range, right? From the lows that has been rejected, right? Which was here, right? Low rejected, right? Like a significant low rejected, right? But this is also what? This is also a order block, right? This would be also a order block. So here the candle that's taking us from the discount to the premium, that could be our target, right? In here, right? And below is the order block, right? So I do think that we can get this drop because the pound really didn't have a proper pullback, right? If you compare it with the euro, but it doesn't mean that this order block will not stop the price or will not somehow push it back, right? So in here we need to at least take some partial, right? So that's what I'm seeing on the pound, right? So I would like to take some shorts in here. Here is gold. I've been talking about this one in the yesterday streams, right? So we had this Monday range, right? Price dropped down into this breaker and the order block from the weekly, I think. Sorry. No, it's from the daily, right? So we have this daily order block in here. this breaker, this candle, right? And this, right? You can see these consecutive down candles, right? And then sharp break through the highs, right? So that's where the orders has been accumulated for this up move, right? And that's where the price should be reacting, right? So you can see where exactly it reacted in here. However, I didn't enter it exact low, but here, right? Then the price been ranging a little bit, right? Taking this low again, and now we can see it's a little bit being held inside this Monday range, right? So hopefully it will stay there and continue higher, right? Because if you remember from the Monday stream, we actually analyzed that most likely these highs are the next target, right? Based on the weekly candle closes, right? So we had this weekly candle closed like this. So what's the next outcome of the next candle, right? Potential, again, the new highs, right? So we had the Monday range created, and then trying to trade this, right? So this is like a very nice setup. We will see if it will work, right? So we have the down candle in the uptrend, manipulated next candle closing inside, and then exactly below this close, you're looking for the long, right? So that's how it should go, right? Good morning, Galaxy. Yeah, we will go to the BTC. USD CAD, right? Now you can see a little bit, I don't want to say excitement, but a kind of little bit, maybe I'm happier. Everything start to make sense again, right? So here we got it, right? Look, USD CAD, right? You remember we've been trying to form some long trades in here, right? I remember someone was posting it and I actually agreed, right? But you can see now that we actually haven't been on the proper key level, right? But we are on the key level right now, right? And with the confluence that the dollar index is also, right? So again, we can draw what? We can draw the weekly range in here, right? We can see weekly range, price drop below, now we are inside, right? So from weekly we need to go to 4 hours, right? We have the weekly range, 4 hours dropping lower, consecutive down candles, then the one closing above, right? And then we could open and trade on the next one, right? And being in a trade like that, right? I guess not many people did it, right? So right now we can hope only for a pullback to catch this trade, right? So that would be actually a model number one, right? Because model number two, right? Because you have the order block, right? Sharp reaction in here, 50% reached, and right now you're looking for this, right? Still doing the same thing. Sorry. For this, right? 61.8 in here, right? For a pullback, right? So we will see. That would be great if we get this thing, this pullback during the FOMC. I took trades on the silver lately and that was ranging for so long, so I start moving really right now. Yeah. Now here is the GBP JPY. We've been tracking it for some time and I wasn't able to find any setup until today actually, right? So let me show you what I see. Here we have weekly, right? This CLS range in here, this range, right? Then we have this next week has manipulated above these all highs into a key level, which is this up candle, right? And then from here was this break lower, right? So that's a valid key level, right? Been tested few times, but right now we're getting this setup, right? Also, so we have the CLS candle manipulated. The next candle we should be looking for short, right? So let's go lower time frame, right? So we have this manipulation in here, right? Now I'm looking on these 4 consecutive candles that created this break lower, right, which is order block, right? If I look on the daily, that would be somewhere, not sure if I would do it like this, right? But I would probably do, if I'm not sure in here, I go lower time frame and I will pick up all of these 4, right? I could basically, what I could basically do is to go very low time frame, maybe M15, right, and try to really make the trade like a uh, low stop loss distance, right? But it's not what I'm trying to do, right? I'm trying to be comfortable in trading, have a room for that, right? Because look, you could actually go to the M15, right? And if you put sessions, right, you can see we have actually moving averages also confirming it, but I'm gonna hide them, right? And now you have the session, so you have the Asia, right, then manipulated. Now maybe the new London and the New York can send it a little bit higher, right? That's where you want to be entering, right? Because this previous sessions also created this gap in here, right? So that's what I do think that could be visited, right? So I will be looking for the short on the GBP JPY. I'll try that. I didn't trade it crosses for quite some time, but I think this one looks good, right? USD JPY, nothing, right? Boring. There's nothing to trade, right? You see, we will might get if we get this stronger dollar, right, this could fire up, right? But from here it's not where you want to trade, right, where you want to do that, right? Nasdaq, I don't see anything today in here. It's simply I've been trying to trade it last few days. I actually had 2 successful trades, one wasn't successful, right? And now look, right, it's like ranging before FOMC, so it's nothing, right? So right now let's go to the Bitcoin, and before I go to the Bitcoin, actually I'll go to this USDT dominance, right? So here we are, and I do think that that the price will overall reach this low, right? Why this low? It's if you go to the yearly chart, right, I do think that we go for this low in here, right, for this one. So on the weekly, on the daily, right, I think it's a continuation, but if you look at the price action, we need to reach some key level, right? Whether it will be this key level, and from here we will go lower, or maybe the price will go even higher above this range, right? And then from here go lower, which actually would be what? Model number 2 in here, right? They actually nicely also leaving these 2 equal highs in here, equal lows in here, right? So it's giving the signs that most likely the price could go lower, right? But we need to see. I think it's not gonna be from here. I think these 3 highs in here will be taken, right? So it means that on the Bitcoin, as the opposite, these 3 lows will most likely be also taken. So I do think that the Bitcoin will go lower here, right? And basically we had this weekly CLS range, right? Price manipulated and went higher, right? Right now, as this happened, look at this, right? These 2 lows are relatively equal in here, even though this one has tapped into it. But I do think that yeah, key level is basically a order block, right? So that's basically no difference from Alex, right? So I do think that we might go deeper into this, right? Because it still looks like a kind of a consolidation in here. We can extend this like that, right? Still looks like kind of a consolidation, and we need to see like a deeper manipulation, right, before we go higher, right? And again, we don't know yet if it's going to be just here, right? Or if it's going to be really down into the discount, right? As a model number 2 in here, right? It all can happen, and we are actually getting into the period of this summer in the Europe. Of course, if you somewhere on a different time of summer in on some other place on the world, maybe will be different. But look, we are actually getting into a we getting it here, right? And this is very similar, but I don't think it's the same, right? But we are now in this June, right? June, July, right? It's this summer period when this June, July is really kind of like you know, making this pullback. So I would not be surprised that we can get something like that, right? Overall, long term, basically to summarize that, I want to be bullish. I am bullish, right? But I want to be, if I will be looking for a trade, it would be somewhere lower, right? And I will show you the other pairs, and it makes you will see it makes sense, right? Overall, I am bullish, right? Let me show you on this one, right? Overall, I do think that the price still can do something like this, right? Into this higher quadrant of this channel, and then even higher. And I think somewhere around this red, it would be maybe top of the cycle, right? If the cycles will still continue, right? There maybe will be possibility that it's an end of this classic cycles, right? Because there is a huge demand only from the MSTR, right, which is the Sailor, from the BlackRock, from the ETFs, now the nation states, right? Also these companies, but also right now they started the Ada Cardano. If you know this owner, this Hoskins, he said that they will be backing the ADA with the Bitcoin, right? So I think that soon we maybe will be living in the world that every company who doesn't own a Bitcoin maybe is not a reliable company, right? So it could be, right? Like everyone is expecting some kind of like an explosive move. Maybe it's not gonna happen, and it can be just like this, right? Without any big pullbacks, right? But obviously, we are still human, and we still having this gambling mind, right? So who knows how it's gonna play, right? On the spot, I'm still holding, actually never selling, right? All the profits, most of the profits from the forex, I'm still buying the Bitcoin. Even here, I bought many times above the 100k already, and planning to continue to do so, right? But for the short-term trades, as mentioned, right, I do think that we will go lower here, right, below this low, right? Because it was kind of like a very shallow manipulation, right? And I believe a lot of traders has been caught in here for the longs, right? And now stop losses will be here in this gap, right? So this midpoint of this gap, 99k, just slightly below 100k. If there we're gonna get a order block, right? Now Alex, listen, so if we're gonna get a order block, in other words, change in order flow, right, on this key level, right, fair value gap, then maybe then I will be looking for the long, right? So need to see that setup. Right now in here, in this stage, it's not interesting for me, right? So need to stay away. Here is Ethereum, right? Also look, so now look at the altcoins, what they basically doing, right? They all, most of them slightly pumped, and now they are ranging, right? Same thing, what they mostly gonna do, right? I believe they will go higher, but I believe also that they will see some pullback, right? Some kind of violation of the lows at least, or maybe even the pullback, like a deeper one, right? Because if the Bitcoin It's not making just shallow pullback, but it will do something like this. Then most of the alts will make a 40% deep dive, right? So that would be this on the Ethereum, right? This inch coin, right? I do think that we're gonna see drop lower, right? That we're gonna go lower down here before something like this could maybe ever happening, right? The question is what's gonna be happening with the alts, right? If even right now some alt companies are going to back their alts with the Bitcoin, it's end, right? Who would buy, for example, this Aave because it's backed of the by the Bitcoin when you can buy the Bitcoin, right? So in here, I'm not seeing any setup, right? Would be interested if we go lower, right? Something like that, right? Solana also, right? Very close to my point of interest, but still not there yet, right? You can see quite relative equal highs, right? Lows, sorry, right? Here we have seen this break, right? So what has happened in here, right? False break, right? Traders entering, thinking here we have this double bottom, right? So there will be what? Stop losses, right? And they will go deeper into it. So you can see most of these pairs, most of these coins look same, right? Before we go higher, and I think we will go higher, I think we first go lower, right? Dogecoin, it's the one which I already have the trade, because in my opinion everything what needs to be met for the setup is already met, right? So I got a trade, I get quite wide stop loss, right? And I have a room to add more into the positions, right? Which I will be probably doing. Here is the link. It was actually showing also the setup, but didn't enter it in here because I didn't see that didn't see this manipulation like deep enough, right? Because as I think that the Bitcoin will still go lower, I'm not sure taking this trade. And here's a H bar, and I'm actually in this position also, right? So a little bit underwater right now. Could it end up in the loss? Obviously it can, right? But everything what I need to for my setup is playing in here, right? So I'm in the position. Here is Ethereum and Bitcoin, right? What do I think, right? Well, I'm Bitcoiner, right? So for me, everything else is shitcoin, right? But in here, we can see that the price has closed above this down candles in here and also above all these consecutive, right? So maybe, and if we put this monthly, or what was it, 3 months? Yes. And on the 3 months, you can see, on this 3 months, you can see we are here on this key level, right? And we have this this CLS range, right? Manipulated, and now maybe this 3 months will close inside, right? And 3 months is actually closing in 12 days, right? So once this close inside, then it's confirmed setup for the next candle to push higher, right? So the Ethereum against the Bitcoin could go higher, right? Which means that probably all these alts will go higher also, because that would be a alt season, right? So what could happen in here, right? Let me delete this, right? And we have this, let me change the color in here, right? So we have this 3 months range where we are back inside, but right now we got also this range, right? Which has a lot of wicks above, right? So I do think that we're gonna get some pullback, right? To at least retest the low of this, right? Before it goes higher. And if it makes this pullback, right? It aligns with all of these pullbacks which we want to see in here, right? In here, and in here, right? And all of these pullbacks which we want to see before we get into the entry. Ethereum have many CLS on weekly. Can you see the time? Which one you choose? Okay, let's look to the Ethereum. Right, it has, right? But which one I would choose? I would choose this one, right? Let me show you. This one. right? Because this is the biggest one. You see, and here you actually coming also from the key level, right? This is key level here, right? So that would be my sales range, right? But I actually already tried to short the Ethereum, right? I've been already shorting it, but I think it was in here. I short that, then closed, and then it manipulated higher, right? If I remember well, I think I had this one on the on right. Look, it went quite well, right, and then higher, right? So I had the trade already in here, and right now I still think it will go lower, right? I still think that after this pump, right, and so many rejections on this key level, why key level? Because from this order block we got break of these two lows, right? So most likely we're gonna get some pullback, right? Where this pullback could go, right? If we measure this fair value gap in here, right? Could go somewhere into this fair value gap or into the midpoint of this fair value gap, and also here is a midpoint of this CLS range, right? So in here you're gonna get a nice level, right? And also then if you connect it with these, right, you can see this is also these down consecutive candles, right? So it's a weekly order block, right? So I do think that the Ethereum is set for this, right? For something like that. It makes sense because yes, this makes sense to me on the Ethereum, right? And yeah, so this is basically it. That's what I got for now. I would probably close it in here, my friends. If you don't have any questions or some special requests, let me know right now. We can look to some pair if you want to. We have a little bit time, and I wish you good luck for today because we have the FOMC, and I think the dollar is really set for this, right? So don't gamble, right? Use the common sense, control your risk, and I think we can get these trades, right? On the euro, on the pound, on the, hopefully gold will go higher, right? We will see. All right, my friends. So